Windows, doors, and openings, move and copy. So we have our doors, windows, and openings positioned correctly. But I would like to talk a little bit about moving and copying as it relates to doors and windows. And we can even add walls to that because it's just good to know the basics behind this before we get going in case you need to do some moving and copying as you're working on your little model. So let's start with move. I'm just going to roll in towards this door right here. And then I'll hold down the scroll wheel that acts as a pan and move my mouse over there so it's centered. How do you move? Well, let's click on the door and you'll see right away that the ribbon has changed to modify doors and it's turned kind of green. What you have in here is this tool right here, and that's move. You can also type in MV as a shortcut. So how do you do this? Well, the most important thing to remember is your first point is a point on the object. So you don't pick your destination first in this case, you pick the object. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. Now it's saying, okay, from that point, how far do you want to move this door? And I may say, I want to move that 8 inches up there. Now I could just sort of see with my eyes that it says 8 inches. What if I want to put in 8.5 inches? Enter. So now using the move command, I've moved it from where it was up 8.5 inches. What about the copy command? How does that work? Well, let's look at that again in relation to the door. How would we copy this? Well, let's click on the door and let's click on copy. Now there's an important thing to know about both the move and the copy command. Essentially, they are the same thing. One is moving it, one is creating a copy based upon it, or it's leaving one behind, depending on how you look at it. But the important thing to remember with both of these commands is constrain. Is that constrained or not? And what does that mean? Well, windows and doors are inside of a host, so they live inside of this wall. If they go off that wall, they disappear because they need that host to survive. If I were to copy this door, now notice what happens is I copy it just a little bit farther. See how it's stuck on that line? And if I were to go off of that object, deletes it because it's off of its host. And what that means is it's constrained to that wall. So let's click on copy again. And that can be a good thing if you're copying windows or doors. I could copy this down to here. Let me hit escape twice. Even though I don't have a long enough wall here for 2 doors to live in, it still did copy it because it still found a host. Let me undo that. Now, if we were to click on this door again and hit copy, what if I wanted that door copied sort of in the same location, but on this wall? That shouldn't be too much to ask. Well, let's not. Let's take off constrain in the options bar, and let's pick our base point. So that's the base point I'm going to pick. It's close or on the object. I could even pick right there, right on the object. And now notice it's letting me put it anywhere. If I don't find a host though, it will just delete itself. So I have to make sure that I do move it to another host, which would be a wall, and then it copies the door right over there, no problem. Let me hit escape a couple times, and that'll clear us out of the move command. Let's click on this door again, and I'm going to click on copy, and I'll show you another option inside of copy. You can choose multiple, and this can be very time saving. I'm going to click on multiple. Instead of having to copy, pick a point on the object, copy, pick a point on the object, you can just retain the same point and just keep copying as many times as you want. And let's combine that with taking off constrain. And obviously we don't want all these doors in our model, but you can see how that's working. If I take off constrain again, if I go to a wall, like let's say this wall here, if it doesn't find it, if it doesn't find the host, it will delete it. So that's a little bit on moving and copying as it relates to doors and windows. So what I'm going to do is just undo, and let's go up to undo and just go down and undo all of those copies, and it puts it right back to where we started. In fact, I can even undo that first move that we did. Let's do a zoom extent. So you just type in ZE, no enter, and now we can see that we have our model. It's pretty much in place. We kind of have the floor plan all set, and we're ready to keep going and moving this project forward.